the lies, lies. This is from Opticon, that's from the fashion bomb. So helpless, guess what you're out of time.
Hello lovelies. There's been some developments in the gay furry Antifa attack on White Wolf, which needs to be gone into a bit, but I didn't just want to do that because that's kind of very much my personal niche corner of the internet and of nerd hobbies and so on. So I want to incorporate it into what I think is going on a wider stage, and what I think is happening is that the social justice people have finally gone too far, even for a lot of their allies. You can look at the situation with TotalBiscuit. For those who don't know, TotalBiscuit was a YouTube commentator on games. He did games reviews, did podcasts, videos, gameplay videos, reviews, and so on, and he was generally known to be and was upheld as a rather ethical reporter on things happening in the computer game sphere. Unfortunately, he got cancer, and after a long battle with it, died a little earlier this year. Now, because he was so ethical and concerned with similar issues, he acknowledged that Gamergate, as it actually was, had some good points and there were some genuine problems. He brought some of those problems to light. Now, that was an unforgivable sin in the eyes of the social justice warrior set, who attacked him constantly, and even after he died, a lot of them have been celebrating that fact, dancing on his grave, if you will. People don't like that, especially when it's based in nonsense. His poor widow is having to put up with all this bullshit and nonsense. There are articles in places like Forbes going on about him and saying what a terrible person he was, and that just doesn't mesh with what people know of TotalBiscuit, John Bain. And so that has really upset and angered a lot of people beyond even what you might have called the Gamergate alumni, you know, because he had a much broader appeal than that, and to see them treating him in this way has really upset a lot of people. People don't like it when you speak ill of the dead, even when they deserve it, and TotalBiscuit certainly doesn't deserve it. He was flawed as a human being, certainly, everybody is, but as a model of ethical reporting in the game space, he's a great example. And that's how people know him, and that's why treating him as this terrible person doesn't wash with them, because they know him. The next thing that happened was the whole Jessica Price debacle. Not Jessica Prince. You're apparently thinking of some alternate universe Wonder Woman when you keep saying that. So what did Jessica Price do? Well, she danced on TotalBiscuit's grave. She was another one of the people that did that. And previously she attacked Frank Mincer, a sort of granddaddy of D&D, accusing him of all kinds of sexual improprieties, which apparently, evidentially, only amounted to some slightly cringeworthy flirtation in private messages. That's really all. She blew that up into a massive thing and tried to drag him into the whole Me Too situation, the missing step metaphor, whatever the fuck that is. But what finally got her into real trouble, she'd moved from the tabletop space into the computer game space working for Guild Wars, was that she started a discussion on Twitter. And the discussion was about storytelling in MMOs and other games, and the barriers and frustrations that there are there. A couple of people replied to her and gave their own take on things in the discussion, and she hulked out and went off on them about mansplaining and all kinds of other horse shit. This got out of hand rather rapidly. She started attacking people who are the game's fan base and so on, and as a result was fired. Now, I don't think she should have been fired. I think there should be the possibility for you to clock out from work, to have a personal life, to have personal discussions, to hold contentious political, social and other views, so long as you're not doing it at work. I think we need the right to a private life. or even a public life separate from work where we can be ourselves. But still, that's beside the point as far as this goes. She went off on people for no good reason, and anyone that goes and looks at this can see that there was no good reason. And yet it's being spun in the media as a kind of extension of the Gamergate thing of entitled and nasty bullying fans, when she is the person who was doing the bullying and the attacking from her bully pulpit. The company seems to think that her actions brought their game into disrepute, maybe costing them money, and so they decided to give her and another developer's a strong word, writer, the hoof from their game from their company. I don't agree with the decision, but I can understand it, and this is a tactic that people like her have used plenty of times successfully to get people removed from projects or Kickstarters, or to get them marginalised by communities. So it's one of those cases of it's alright when we do it, which it isn't. Which brings us back around to the white wolf situation. So, Dogwithdice, who I took the piss out of a couple of days ago, and who preemptively primed the pump. People are going to be mean to me because I said something retarded. Oh no, I'm going to be trolled and attacked and threatened because I said something retarded. Oh, woe is me, the trolls are coming for me because I'm such an obvious and easy target. And lo and behold, he has flounced off the internet, removed the blog, but left the page up saying, people are being mean to me. And the fuss just rolls on. Having dropped his shit bomb into the role-playing community, he has flounced off and apparently sworn off role-playing games forever, because apparently we want them to be full of Nazis and so on. It's not that we disagree that it's full of Nazis, and frankly, who the fuck cares? If Nazis are playing D&D, they might learn something useful that would take them away from being Nazis. You never fucking know, do you? Now, excuse me if I'm a little bit angry here, because in the midst of all this blowback, again we have people on all sides getting threats, probably trolls having a field day. White Wolf always had a reputation for being rather woke, and I think this is why they're encountering resistance coming into it and trying to attack it in this way. And many of the actors are the same ones that have caused me and Zach and others shit over the years. Take Holden Shearer, for example. Holden seems to have had a change of heart recently. Apparently you shouldn't harass and attack and threaten people that you disagree with. And yet Holden has spent a great deal of the last few years doing exactly that to people like me. So, fuck you, Holden, you hypocritical shitface. Then there's Olivia Hill. Now, I don't feel any particular desire to be nice or accommodating to Olivia, but I'm going to have to, because if I don't, otherwise people are going to fixate upon that. So when I tell you that Olivia Hill was David Hill, it's not to dead name someone, it's because I want them to be held accountable for things they did in the past, as well as things they're doing now and things they will do in the future. For an interesting take on this particularly complex knot to untangle when criticising people or when marginalised people are bad actors, I suggest looking up the case of Dr. V and the Magic Putter. That out of the way, God, where do I even fucking start? They are one of the worst actors, second only perhaps to Etin, who is an out-and-out troll. They have used this situation while complaining about supposed alleged politics being inserted into Vampire rather than merely representing the real world as it exists to create a realistic setting for the game. They've used that as an opportunity to shill their own material with explicit and outright political shilling pushed into it. It is the hypocrisy that gets me every time. It's a personal failing, but hypocrisy really fucks me off. And here are these people who have spent years attempting to tarnish the reputation of people like myself, who have slandered tens of thousands, perhaps more people in Gamergate as being harassers and attackers, have ignored all the good things that they did or when they called out harassment. And now that there's apparently death threats and harassment on all sides, White Wolf developers and commentators, such as the Gentleman Gamer here on YouTube, good channel, go check him out. You know, he's been attacked and slandered. They expect us to just accept when they say, oh, we don't support this, when they have in the past and have done it in the past, but in a way that they didn't accept from Gamergate, when people in Gamergate took the trouble to track down and out trolls like Celebriando, or the anti-harassment patrol when they outed Pterodax as being involved in a lot of the trolling and threats and abuse that were going on. That was all ignored. No, you're not decrying it enough. No, you're all harassers even though you've done this. And yet they expect us to just accept them and their sudden change of heart. I don't think they even understand this is what they have done in the past. This is how they have attacked people. This is what's happened to people like me in the past. I don't think they even fucking understand it. And yet I feel that we should be the bigger and better people, and we should talk to them about this and point out, yeah, I've been telling you this is bad for, what, 5 years now? And you kept doing it. Now do you understand why it's a problem? I mean, this is futile, but my door is always open to discussion with people on the other side, even people I virulently disagree with. In fact, that makes for more interesting discussions. So if you can wind your neck in and stop being a cunt for 5 seconds, come and talk. So now a lot of people who jumped on board with attacking Gamergate or bought into the nonsense that's been spread around about me, about Zach, about others, now suddenly they seem to realise that people like Hill, like Shearer, like Etin are in fact lying arseholes. I haven't got any apologies yet. Nobody's readdressed the past there. They only seem to be aware of where they're wrong here, but you know, it's a start. And now that they haven't gotten their own way in a couple of instances, you can feel the angst and the retreat. You know, great that they're finally admitting that haranguing people and getting them fired because you had a difference of opinion is a bad idea, but it's a bit late for a lot of people, isn't it, you cunt? Why anyone takes Etin seriously, whether it be about me, whether it be about Zach, whether it be about anyone, I don't know. It's all horse shit, and yet you happily swallow it. And all of this seems to be on the basis of relationships and feelings, not off the basis of evidence. But there seems to be a larger swell now of people who want to see some actual facts before they're willing to jump on board with the lynch mob, and that can only be encouraging. I hope, perhaps, that this is the final uptick on that pendulum. And now I want things to swing back to a more reasonable area without going too far the other way, which is the problem we're going to have to watch for, and the problem we're seeing elsewhere in culture. For as much as the right wing have been supporters of free expression, political expression, personal freedom, away from work and so on for a while, now that they've had a whiff of power again, they're starting to be censorious and authoritarian as well. So that's something else to watch for. So it's hopeful, but I'm still really fucking angry at these people and the level of hypocrisy that they have. I'm still waiting for people's apologies, or for them to realise, for the penny to drop, that maybe, as they can see that this is wrong, maybe they got a few other things wrong in the past as well. I won't hold my breath on that fucking score. Zang.
I'm an urban animal, one step from a cannibal.